like I said, I think they're just really interested in seeing, what does an A&E doctor do? And I think also I don't come across as a doctor on first glance.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like,
yeah, you don't come across as a doctor.
yeah, I know. The thing is, I know. I know. Like I said, there's people that think I do fraud. Say for example, I did a video about a girl that I saw on one of my A&E shifts, and you know, it was to do with like sort of how doing balloons can affect like your nerves.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Yeah.
So that video, like, I got a lot of young people like DMing me and messaging me about their own personal situations and like really asking for my advice. And I had to make it clear to them, I'm not a specialist in this. Okay. This is the first and only time I've seen this condition.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jay. We've just done a really exciting video with junior Dr Jermaine. Spoke about the power of social media and how it can help transform the lives of junior doctors. Lots of fun conversations, lots of banter between boys, but tons of exciting and insightful stuff that you can learn. So do check it out, like and subscribe the video, continue to show love to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
So yeah, we're here with another podcast. We've got Jay here, we've got Jermaine, or Dr. Jermaine, I should say.
Nice to meet
the
you.
main man himself. How long have we been trying to get this guy on here?
You know what? That's a good question. A couple months? No, a month? It was quite quick, I think.
Yeah, it was good.
I think I did it smooth.
Yeah.
I don't like to make it difficult for people.
Yeah.
I hear
I think
you.
the turnaround was definitely quite quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
100%.
didn't take long.
No, and thanks for joining us on stage. I know that we've been talking a lot about social media and stuff like that.
100.
And I think it's a great opportunity to get all of us here to speak about the power of social media, which is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's kind of, introduce the guest. Tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do? And yeah,
right.
let's get started that way.
So I have to be careful because my girlfriend just messaged me saying, she's like to me, oh, you're doing a podcast. She started panicking.
Oh, really?
I was like, so it's not that kind of podcast.
This is PG podcast.
Yeah, it's not that kind of
This
podcast.
is educational podcast.
Yes, all education.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep it above board as possible.
Yes. Was that warning?
I'm just saying, innit? If I say edit it out. But no, what's it? So obviously, like, I'm a doctor. I've been, what's this now? This is probably in my 5th year now of being a doctor. I graduated like just before COVID, so my first year in hospital was a mess.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was rough. I can't lie. And I think, I'd always wanted to sort of like explore other avenues outside of medicine. Like that's always sort of been something that was on my mind from when I started. I know me and you spoke a lot in church about like repositioning towards pharma.
Yeah.
And my intention was to do that, but with COVID, it's like before I knew it, I woke up and then like I'd done 2 years already.
Yeah, of course.
And I was just like, it's. But now I've sort of pivoted outside of medicine, hospital medicine anyway, and I'm working sort of with the government a little bit to help with their sort of welfare and benefits sort of sector, and then also I do social media as well. That kind of took off last year, and I like just creating content around hospital work, NHS, travel. That's like my main thing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's going really well, and just sort of seeing how it goes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's funny though because I think this topic is generally something that I think is quite interesting. The whole being in the medical field, social media presence. One thing I will say is, and I don't know if it's like a trend, but I am seeing a lot of like emerging doctors that are now becoming more prominent on social media. And I'm thinking, is that a wave? Is that coincidence? Like what's the, I'm interested to know how that's all kind of come about, because you're one of a good number of people that I know that, doctor, great career, but it's still like, also growing on social media quite quickly.
Do you know what I think it is? Yeah, I think that for a long time, almost being a doctor was like this sort of like, almost like a cult. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like it's like a secret club or whatever. they know all of this sort of like special information, but they sort of like just keep it together sort of thing. And you only teach it to people that are lucky enough to take that same route as you and learn that sort of secret art of being a doctor. But I think that with where we are now, like the age of like information and just information is so readily available that it's almost like you have to be a part of it and you have to put that information out. People want to know more. People want to know more about their health. People want to know more about what it actually takes to be a doctor because people are interested in it. And I think that there's a wave of people trying to sort of get that information out to show what it really looks like, not what the marketing says that it looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think people lack a lot more authentic content now as well. So they really want to see like, okay, what does your actual day look like? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not the good parts, but like everything.
Yeah.
Or not everything, good, bad, whatever. And I think a lot of people are really interested in seeing that, which is why there's a lot of receptiveness to doctors that are like producing content, things like that.
And I guess one of the things that comes to mind for me is, you know, Nana and I were speaking about this before, is how do you balance the whole, you know, long shift as a doctor, making content? We know you're obviously an avid traveller, which is good. How do you kind of work across all of those different different avenues?
Honestly, I force it. I force it because, like, I think I've been forcing it since uni. So, like, obviously, when I was studying, I had like 9 a.m. lectures every day, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. lectures. So I always had to be up early. However, I was like, I'm in first year, I'm in uni, I'm trying to go out as well. Do you know what I mean? So there'll be times where like my day will be like 9 a.m., go lectures, do my labs, finish maybe like 1, 2-ish or something like that. I might go home and nap or eat something and nap. Cool. Wake up. I had an evening job at John Lewis that time. So do like my 4-hour shift afterwards, Then I'm walking back home. My boy shout me, oh yeah, they're doing a house party here or they're doing this there. I'm going to go yard, change, and be outside again.
I hear it.
Come back home at like 5 a.m, somehow make it to lectures again at 9.
Yeah.
And I feel like because that was like what majority of my uni life sort of looked like, when I started working, I was like, I don't want my life to just be work. Like, I'm at the end of the day, I'm not living to work sort of thing. Like, so I will go to a hospital when I was working full-time in the hospital. I might do like an 8 to 6 shift or something like that. I'm driving home on the M-way. I'm on the phone to my boy. I'm like to him, yo, you man trying to go somewhere? The funny thing is, I'm the one that's initiated it.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's initiated it.
Aren't you tired at that point?
But you know what it is? It's like, because we're like, the hospital thing was so rough here that it's like, and my boys used to say, I'll be real, it's not like that anymore, but I feel like I used to drink like a lot in it. I feel like I was like a functioning alcoholic. Because it's like, you go here, it's like, like as soon as you walk onto the ward, you do your ward round, like, and then it's just on go. Boom, 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 boom. For your lunchtime isn't even your lunchtime. It's like a working lunch, like as in you're eating, nurses come and saying, oh, could you sign this? Or this patient's family wants to speak to you, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you've just been whizzing around 100 miles an hour the whole day here. And then that drive home is like your first bit of peace.
To yourself.
But then you're just like, nah, I need to de-stress even more. So
I need to unwind, relax.
I'm going to go to Hyatt.
Which one?
No, I'm not there anymore. Not there anymore. But no, I can't lie. Listen, all of that sort of stuff, that's what got me through it.
Yeah, got it through.
Yeah, got me through it because, like, I think that I wasn't really able to incorporate social media as much into at that time because I was so busy at work. Like, I'll find time for traveling. Like, if I'm taking time off work, I'm going somewhere else. I'm going out of the country, basically. But I didn't have time for like social media. But I think since I've now got sort of like more regular shift pattern and, you know, I'm not leaving work late and things like that, like I'm able to, and I don't work weekends, like I'm able to find time to say maybe record something or something that I've recorded before, sort of edit it, put it together and then make it into something that I think people would like.
Yeah.
And that's just what I've been doing really.
Do you find there's like a fear sometimes that, I'm going to put something out there that might not speak to my profession and can compromise me in that regard. And the reason I ask this because so over the last 10 years, and Nana and the guys will contest to this, I refused to be on social media because I thought to myself, you know, I'm in a very corporate job and I never want there to be something out there that can compromise the hard work that I do, you know, on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of my reasons of not being on social media was fear of doing or saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
From your perspective, is there that kind of, you know, when you're doing this content, you're editing the content, are you thinking to yourself, hopefully I'm not putting anything that's out there that's going to compromise me as a, you know, my profession?
So it's funny, this is what we were talking
We were
about.
literally talking about. I was laughing in my head when you said that.
So I'll tell you a story about what happened to me, innit? So when I started doing TikTok, it was purely just like my holiday stuff that I was posting. And I'm posting it in like, you know, very like small clips, obviously nothing salacious, nothing crazy. It's all just enjoy the scenery, see the vibes, keep it clean sort of thing, innit? Then I remember my girl and a few of my friends, they were like, they sort of encouraged me to start to, you know, post a little bit about it or whatever. Eventually I gave in. Yeah, so I was like, alright, cool, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Because before I'd seen people do it and I just thought they were doing it like a bit corny. I just never really felt like, I never really put my work out there on social media. Like if you knew me, then you knew I was a doctor, but otherwise I wasn't really putting it out there. So, cool. I done a day in the life of A&E sort of shift. So I just showed like, you know, this is the board round that we do and like, this is what I do pretty much day to day or whatever. And like, this is one interesting scan that I saw today. Just, you know what I'm saying, kosher stuff. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
So to be fair, that was my first video. At that time, that was my first video that like, as in it did really well, sort of like overnight for me at that time. And I was like, right, okay.
Why do you think it did well? Just on a side note.
I think it was because it was the first video that actually showed like me.
Yeah.
Like for one, it was like I was doing a voiceover in it, and it was like I said, I think they were just really interested in seeing, oh, what does an A&E doctor do? And I think also I don't come across as a doctor on first glance.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, oh,
Yeah, you don't
I should-
come across as a doctor.
yeah, I know. The thing is, I know. I know. Like I said, there's people that think I do fraud. It's what it is.
But I think that plays into your strength, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people resonated with you. You see what I'm saying?
Because you're very authentic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in my mind, you're right. When I think of any kind of medical practitioner, I think of a certain image, way of speaking, and yeah, because you don't fit that mold, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that. Yeah, I wouldn't think that. You know.
Yeah.
Doctor.
I feel like I'm going off at a tangent.
Sorry,
I'm gonna come. No,
yeah.
I'll come back to what I was saying before. But like, I agree with that, and it was one thing that I was sort of worried about when from going to uni, from practicing. I felt like I might lose myself because I felt like I need to fit in
Yeah.
to this sort of thing. But I think what I noticed that when I went to uni, like all of my friends in uni, none of them were like on my course. So they were doing maths, they were doing economics, just stuff completely away from medicine or whatever. But it's like I gravitated to them because they were like me, sort of thing. And I feel like that's what sort of kept me myself.
That's good.
And then, but what I sort of stood on was like, when I started, I was sort of like code switching a lot when I was on the ward. Talking, I'd be like, I'll be even hearing myself thinking like, who's this brother?
Where did this voice come from?
Yeah. But then I think, I don't know why, I think it was after like maybe my second year or something. I feel like it's as I grew in confidence as a doctor, I was like, I don't need to do all of this stuff. Like, as in, it's me that's doing it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just went a bit more like myself, basically.
Yeah.
And I felt like I like being like that because I want other people that are like me to know that you don't have to be a certain way to be in that field. You can be yourself. It's about what's up here.
That's really, you know what, that's really powerful, you know, actually, because I think with a lot of people that are going into certain fields, there's always been like preconceptions that you've got to fit a certain mold.
Exactly.
And you find yourself conforming to that mold without realizing. And I think what you just highlighted around being your authentic self and taking me how I am. I think that's important. I think that's big.
I think we definitely need to have a conversation around kind of representation in the work field, in the corporate field, definitely in this conversation. But I'm curious because I don't want you to lose your trend because you're telling
yeah.
So
I almost forgot as well.
Yeah.
No, so
It's a good story.
yeah, so yeah, I posted that video, done well. Like I was walking around my hospital and like even some stuff were like, oh yeah, I saw your video on TikTok. I was like, oh,
Yeah, celebrity in A&E.
yeah. I was like, right, this is what it feels like. But so it was there for a bit. I remember I was working in another hospital nearby mine, and I got a call from the director of my A&E department. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, me and him are blessed.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like, he's cool people, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's Nigerian. I'm pretty sure he's Nigerian, yeah. I said that in the car confidently. Now I'm not sure anymore. But, so he called me, he was like, oh, you know, Jermaine, like, you know, I want to talk to you about something. And I was like, oh, yeah, go on, what's going on? Blah, blah. He's like, oh, it's about TikTok. I was like, okay. So, what's this about?
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, like, you know, they just sort of come into my room, everyone's in sort of a panic, and they're saying like, you know, you put a video out and you're showing people's faces and patient information, etc., etc. Which I didn't in the video.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, when it gets in the hands of certain people,
Yeah.
the story changes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think he'd even seen the video himself. So he's just going off hearsay or whatever. And I was like to him, no, I didn't do that. Like, blah, blah. He was like to me, advised me basically, it might be best to just take the video down, innit?
Oh, wow.
So I was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to lose my license over this stuff here.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. I just, you know, at that point, I was like, it's done what I needed it to do anyway. So I was like, cool, take it down. But then I was away with my girlfriend, like that. I think that weekend we've gone to Lake District, and I got a notification on my phone saying that my shifts for the following weekend when I was back, like had been cancelled, and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I just see the notification. I see the reason. It says not to work in A&E for 3 months.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So to you.
Well,
So-
what was the reason?
Well, this is the thing. The conversation has never been had to this day.
And they said you can't work there for 3 months.
For 3 months. But as in, the last conversation I had was only with the guy in charge.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And it seemed like, oh, just take it down like it's a light thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But clearly there was something else. Like there were repercussions at that point. And I just found it a bit mad at the time that I was like, oh, you know, you could have communicated that to me.
Why do you think they were so scared about that video?
I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. A part of it, I think, is just like rigidity in sort of like thought process towards social media. Because to be fair, another nurse that worked in my department also went through the same thing, and I think that she actually like couldn't work there at all.
Oh wow.
Anymore, yeah. So that was a bit like, I think that A&E department, they have a real thing against like that for some reason.
Yeah.
But I guess I sometimes do question, could it sometimes be like almost like a secrecy thing? Because I mean, you know, obviously, I think when you're in work sort of realistically, sometimes you have to do certain things to just make things go along. You know? Like my friend is a manager, sometimes he has to approve like extra hours just to get the things cleared for that day or something like that. So sometimes you might not want all of that on sort of Front Street, I guess.
Yeah.
Because then they might start saying, oh, you should do this or you can't do that, blah, blah. But meanwhile, it's like, that's what makes this work. So I think sometimes they just don't want that sort of being put out there a little bit.
Yeah.
But to be fair, again, it's not like that was anything that was in the video.
Yeah.
Literally, I was recording myself doing the urine test.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing crazy.
And so it's interesting because I think that it doesn't just apply to healthcare. I think in general, in the corporate world, I don't know about your industry, but I know that in the corporate world, generally speaking, social media is still frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think it's because the people who are in the leadership positions most likely come from an older time where social media wasn't as rampant, and so they don't understand it as much as us reasonably younger people, right?
Yeah. Good point.
And maybe there needs to be a conversation around, you know, how do we now implement social media into current corporate so that it's more understood and then it can be used for, you know, useful purposes.
No, I agree with that. But do you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Is, so when I got the job that I'm doing now, so pretty early on, I did exact same thing, day in the life sort of thing.
Okay.
Because I knew it was a job here that like a lot of doctors weren't even aware of. I wasn't aware of it. I just got approached about it on LinkedIn at the time, and then that's how I ended up getting the job. I had no idea the job even existed. When I did that, again, the video done really well. And then it came across someone in senior management's desk, to the point where someone like in senior management came to my office.
This is the new job?
This is my new job, yeah.
Okay.
So they came to my office because they said they wanted to meet me. Yeah. But their sort of response to it was completely different.
Oh wow.
It was like, oh, yeah. So he was like, my boss showed me your video and we love it.
Oh wow.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Why was there such two contrasting reactions? Why do you think that was?
This is the thing. I do feel like, you know, whereas I guess in the hospital you're not really trying to, in a way, like market the hospital. You're not trying to attract patients to the hospital or anything like that. But I guess with my new company, obviously it's a bit more corporate in that sense. So, you know, it's a private company at the end of the day. They're getting contracts from the government to do the work that they do. So in a sense, they have a more vested interest to try and maybe break into different things, attract the right kind of talent so that they can like almost justify them getting those contracts again and again and again. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think probably they saw that the video I did, really it was information based and it was more to sort of create awareness about this job that exists, what it involves, why I think that, you know, it could be something to consider if you were sort of like disgruntled within the NHS or whatever. And I think because they could see the response, like people just wanted to know information sort of thing. It was almost like, I mean, I think it's free marketing for them, really. You know, they asked me to do another video for them. I said, what's the budget?
Turned you into their salesperson.
I said, what's the budget?
They came up to you to say, do another video.
Yeah, I said, what's the budget? But, yeah, they didn't. They weren't trying to face. I was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Do you think it would help if, you know, when I think about the first scenario where the reaction wasn't as forthcoming, do you think moving forward, because you made a good point, social media is so prominent and it's just growing year on year. If they started to implement things like guidelines and protocols, do you think that would appease these kind of old school thinking, you know, people and ways of doing things to make people feel more comfortable? Do you think that would be something that could help? Or
the thing is, I think they have guidelines in the hospital around social media, but it's very sort of like broad. You know, it's just like, it's pretty much, oh, be careful what you post on social media. Yeah. But I mean, that's sort of up to the interpretation of the person that is seeing what you're posting. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
So some people, they might see just anything and be like, should have posted that. And I think that that's what it tends to be, that's the blanket sort of response, like within my hospital. I don't know if it's across other hospitals. But yeah, I think, you know, I feel like if maybe you just, I can't even say if you just record like equipment, because I think that's what my colleague did. Yeah. And she got,
Oh, wow.
You know, so I don't know, that could be maybe just very specific to my hospital, just the attitude. I wouldn't say my hospital, that department specifically, because I was able to work in the rest of the hospital. There's no issues there. And they knew about it. Yeah. But it wasn't a problem sort of thing, you know. So yeah, it's hard to say really. Yeah.
So what do you think that could be missing, right? Because I do think that there's a power to social media, for example, even within the health field, right? Because I think your information is very crucial, because, you know, we can't talk about it, but someone who's a doctor can speak about certain, you know, health topics that maybe the public can understand through social media. And sometimes certain people don't even want to come to the hospital or go see their GP. So the only way they can actually learn information is through social media. And if someone who is not well-versed in the career of being a doctor is giving them information, it's not the right information. But if, let's say, you were, they're getting the right information in the right way that they're used to kind of absorbing that information. So how can we make it more accepted that social media is part of our lives and should be also part of our kind of corporate careers and so on and so forth, without it being frowned upon or you having repercussions, for example?
Ooh. Bloody hell.
I know.
We're going
deep.
It's scrambled me a little bit, I can't lie. I mean, I purely think here that sometimes people need to see the benefit of things before they like incorporate it.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, like as in I think there's a lot of people that they wouldn't necessarily bother going into the hospital. They don't. A lot of people don't want to see their GPs. You say to them like, oh, you probably should go and see a doctor about that. And it's like, I've got to make an appointment. It's going to be on hold for ages, receptionist, etc. It's like it's long. But like, if they're, it's money. You know what it is? I just feel like, no, it's money, bro. No, because honestly, yeah, I feel like it's money. It's money.
I think he's been holding that in.
Because let's be real, yeah. If like you could see, alright, cool. Let's say a GP surgery. Okay, so if we make this series on common conditions and we sort of tell people that, you know, if you have these symptoms X, Y, Z, you should do this at home, blah, 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 or this is probably something that you should come to the GP for, etc., etc. And they looked at, oh, we're saving money because we're not having to book as many appointments. We're having less sort of blocked up. We have more time to see patients that actually need to be seen. We have more time to do medication reviews, more time to do our paperwork and other things.
Yeah.
Then you might make it more of a thing.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? But I feel like if it doesn't affect the bottom line, then no one really believes in it. The numbers have to sort of make sense. Be like, okay, we can offload this amount of work pretty much for free here, and we might actually make money from it over there as well. Because let's say, I don't know, if you put it on, if you're able to like monetize it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, I don't know, and you can see the funds coming in from there and the savings that you're making on this side, then you'd be like, oh, that might make more sense.
But do you find there's like because looking at Nana's question, the way you framed it, and I always like to play devil's advocate sometimes. Don't you think there's a moral dilemma with someone that isn't as skilled as they think they are giving health advice on social media, because the population is so easily susceptible to take that information and run with it? So it's almost like, is that person, yes, they're a medical practitioner or whatever we want to call it, but are they qualified in that specific subject matter to give health advice? And because it's so sensitive, should they be giving it so freely on social media versus behind closed doors?
So I think that's down to each individual, because I think one thing that I'm sort of an advocate for is like, don't pretend that you don't know what you don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you'll get caught out. And like, say for example, I did a video about a girl that I saw on one of my A&E shifts, and you know, it was to do with like sort of how doing balloons can affect like your nerves.
I think I saw that one. Yeah.
So that video, like, I got a lot of young people like DMing me and messaging me about their own personal situations and like really asking for my advice. And I had to make it clear to them, I'm not a specialist in this. Okay. This is the first and only time I've seen this condition. I've done a bit of background reading, but I can only advise you to do maybe this or this, and then go to see your doctor, go and see your GP sort of thing. I think sometimes people make it seem as though they know a lot more than they do, but they don't sort of correct people. If people have, say, mistakenly said or thought that they might know more than they do, they'll sort of just take it on, because they'll be like, oh, no, maybe I can be an expert in this field. Yeah. They don't know any better. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's for sort of like self gain or whatever. But you will get caught out. You know what I'm saying? Because someone's gonna go and fact check you, and then they're gonna catch you out. And I think it's dangerous when it comes to health. Yeah. Because, you know, you could actually, if we were in America, you get sued. If you think about it. But because we're here and we don't really have that sort of culture, it's like you might just get, maybe at most you might lose your license. Yeah. But America could cost you.
And because the threat of being sued is there, it's real, does that not justify sometimes why these like big institutions are so, you know, inflexible on doctors being on social media and having social media presence, because they understand that is very real, that possibility of, if someone says the wrong thing, we can be sued, or, even worse kind of thing. If someone gives misinformation, a patient, something happens to a patient, reflects badly on our, on our hospital. Because I think it's a genuine concern.
No, I do agree with that. And I can only really speak for myself. Like, as in, I tend to not get too deep into fact-based things when I post stuff on social media. It's more my opinion because of that reason. Like, because I don't want to sort of say something and it's. The funny thing is, with medicine, because it's always changing, it's like, that thing you said, it might have been right then. You know what's crazy? It might have been right back then, but then they've gone and done research. Now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? It's always adapting. 100%. So it's like, but that might not, let's say you made that video in September, but it only came on someone's feed in April. By that time, so much research has gone. That thing you said is old now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't apply no more. But someone's seen it in April, done what you said to do.
Yeah.
Or something. Now they're in a calamity.
Yeah.
And they're coming to you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I do appreciate, like, as in the concern about it. But I mean, that's why it's every doctor's responsibility to stay up to date. If that's the content that you want to create, then you have to stay up to date. You have to know your information, because the evidence is there. And one thing that you can always back yourself up with is evidence-based medicine. Like, as in, no one can take that away from you. That's what you can use to justify what you're saying. But if you're just talking willy-nilly and you're just saying all sorts of rubbish, then that's your business. Do you know what I mean? What happens after is your business.
What are some of the positive things that's happened since starting on social media? Because I know because you've grown quite big in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
So, like, and I'll get to how you did it later on, but what are some of the positives that's happened since you've done it?
Well, like being here. It's true.
Shout out.
You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, I feel like, let's be real. If I didn't have my social media thing, I wouldn't even be here. You get what I'm saying?
Don't say that. We're
No,
not
but
giving it up.
I mean, let's not keep it 100. Let's be honest.
Our guest must have some sort of present. You can edit that out.
But like, being I've never spoken on a podcast before, so this is an interesting experience for me. I did a video on YouTube with another company. Am I allowed to say their name here? I don't know.
I'm sure you can. Yeah, there's no issues.
I don't want to take away from your thing, innit?
No, it's cool. It's cool. They can go check it out.
Yeah. So there's a company called Millennial Money. Guy that runs it, Niaz. He reached out to me. He's doing well for himself. But we did the video completely like non-medicine based. Really, it was just about sort of guessing people's salaries and just sort of having those sort of conversations around money. And the video did really well. I think in a month it did like 200,000 views, which is on his channel. I think it's the biggest video on his channel at the moment. But I would never have had that experience had I not had social media or to come across his radar. Yeah. I've been asked to do like, some adverts for people for their products, and I've been able to make money from it as well.
What's the end?
It's just nice, really.
What's the because I always look at social media when I look at my game. I work in software sales. When I think of social media, it's purely for like lead generation, like being able to sell to new companies, like open up doors, doing something slightly creative and outside of the box. From your perspective, what's kind of like, I'm gonna get a bit deep here, but what's the end goal? What's the whole purpose behind it? What do you really want to achieve? And I want a really unfiltered response here.
We want your 5-year plan.
I mean, do you know what? Yeah, ultimately, I think for me, it's to allow me to live the lifestyle that I want to live in future. Like I mentioned, like as in I've sort of stepped away from clinical medicine within the hospital. I still do dibble and dabble a little bit, but it's not full time. It's just I might do 1 or 2 shifts a month at best. But ultimately it's because in future I don't see myself. I don't want to have to be in a position where I'm sort of constantly needing to be present physically to make money, basically. And I do see social media as an avenue where I can reach a massive audience without having to be there every single time for each person, sort of thing. And ultimately, my passion is still within healthcare. But I think for myself, I've identified what avenue in healthcare I really do want to make a change within. And I think having the audience there would allow me to, I guess, market that better.
Yeah.
But it's still Plan Emotions. I don't want to say too much about it.
That's for podcast number 2.
When it starts making sense, don't worry. I'll make it done.
Yeah.
That's good.
And what kind of like advice would you give to, as I said, I know a few people that are, young doctors, junior doctors, they're looking to, do what you've done and, be present on social media. What would be some advice that you'd give to anyone that's looking to do the two? Because I think a lot of what you said will resonate with so many people. Even just how you come across, I think it's really authentic that, it's kind of breaking a lot of barriers of what people would expect people to come across. So what would be kind of advice to people that would look up to you and say, Jermaine, trying to do the same thing, how should I navigate the two worlds?
Oh, well, I think ultimately being authentic is key. You have to show. I think a lot of people, they, especially, I'll speak specific about doctors to be fair, because I do see it a lot. I think a lot of times doctors make their personality be that they are a doctor, rather than you're you and you're a doctor. And I think a lot of people don't put forward their personality enough. And you do sort of see it, and it sort of creates this sort of robotic nature when you sort of put content out. So I think being authentic, being yourself, showing that you do other interesting stuff. I mean, ultimately, a lot of times, even when people are applying for medicine, it's about the stuff that they do outside of the academic side that even keeps the admissions person interested in whatever you do. So highlighting those aspects, but then also understanding that you are still a professional. So you can't just be out here wilding, doing that stuff. Like, if you want to do it, keep it off the camera. At the end of the day, yeah, whatever goes out, you put it out at the end of the day. So I'm saying, so if you put something out and you're doing a mad thing, that's just silly.
Yeah.
Because that will come back to you all of a sudden. Now it's all techie and just it's long. So respecting that you still are professional and you do a respected job, and not trying to sort of step too far out of that line, really.
Yeah.
To ideally just stay within the lines as much as you can. What else? Yeah.
I know that you're travelers, or you love to travel, right? And I know that that's definitely going to be part of your content moving forward in the future.
100%.
So how are you going to incorporate both aspects of things, the travel and maybe the medicine? How do you see that kind of being positioned in the future?
I mean, I'll always make time for it. Always, to me, yeah, it's like I'm just always going to do it. Like, as in, and to be fair, I think that's why my girlfriend is my girlfriend, because she likes traveling probably more than me.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So for me, it's just like, there's always going to be someone that I'm going to be able to travel with.
Yeah.
So there's almost like even more of an excuse for me to travel, just even to do little things here and there, whatever. And balancing it, like, listen, if I can squeeze in, I went to Dubai for 3 days. Do you know what I mean?
That's
if I
crazy.
can squeeze it in,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna do it. It's not really about, I guess it's not really about balancing it or making it work for me. It's just like, it's part of my life, you know, I think.
Like that, yeah.
So, and I think that it's one of the things that really makes me happy. Like, just seeing new places, meeting new people, trying new things, new foods, etc., etc. Like all of that stuff, I just love it. So
Top 4 travel destinations.
oh.
Go.
Okay, so you know what, Dubai. Ooh, okay, wait, hold on. Nah, okay, do you know what?
And you can't say Nigeria.
I've been Nigerian time though. Let's go back. But I'd say I'd say Dubai.
Number 1?
I'd probably say Dubai
Wow.
because the only reason I say is because it's somewhere that I would want to live.
Okay.
So I'd say that's number 1. Number 2 is Houston. Houston, Texas. Yeehaw.
He just said yeah.
Nah, because I've been there like 3 times with my brethrens, and you know it's just always been like just a great time. Again, it's somewhere that I would consider living. However, my girl never let me do that. that's off the list.
Amen to you.
Yeah, facts.
She don't like Houston.
I mean, the guns in it, man. It's the guns, man. Then Mauritius, 100%. I went Mauritius last year with my girl for her birthday, and that place is like just unreal.
Yeah,
like it's unreal. 4th, fourth. I wanna say, to be fair, it probably is Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
It probably is Miami, but like not based on the last time I went to Miami.
Ooh, what happened last time?
They got me. Monzo was screaming. Monzo was screaming. And it's mad because I don't remember it being that expensive.
Yeah.
I think I hadn't gone for...
They got me.
Bro, they got me, man. I hadn't gone for like 3 years. I think I'd gone like just before COVID. 2019, yeah. I went 2019 for a concert called Rolling Loud. Amazing. Like it was so fun. Then obviously COVID happened. I think the funny thing is I was meant to go the following year.
Yeah.
We booked flights, everything was booked. Then the lockdown happened. We couldn't fly. So it was like that trip just got cancelled.
Yeah.
The next time I went was in 2022 for my boy's 30th. And everything had changed. Like the same bottle that was... Bro, I promise you, when I went in 2019, the Henny was $480. Yeah. Why? It was $480. This time it was $800. That's not even fair, man.
It's doubled.
Yeah, I didn't double it. Yeah, the same bottle. Come on, man.
The inflation is quick out there.
Bro.
Oh, crazy.
But yeah, so I'd probably say that's my... I think that's my top 4. Yeah. Let's go with that.
I love that. And one thing I was going to say is I think it's, you know, you come across really positive. I said, even for me, you've broken a lot of what I think a doctor or medical practitioner would come across like.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of, you know, honestly speaking, is there any kind of downside or negative that you've seen from having so much on your plate? Because I think there's a lot of positive that you spoke about, but you know, you're very organized, clearly, because you'd be able to travel around the world and still go and work. Is there any sort of downside that you've seen, or you just want to make people aware of, you know, people that do want to do what you do? It isn't just all rainbows and sunshines. There are certain challenges as well to expect.
So you mean like purely like working in a hospital sort of thing?
You know, I think more across the board. So more kind of, you know, I want to work in a hospital, but I also want to be present on social media. I also might have other hobbies. You know, stretching yourself across all these different interests. It must be tiring at some point.
No, don't get me wrong. It's tiring. It's tiring because obviously, like as in, I've been being quite consistent with gym as well.
Yeah,
recently. So
yeah.
Like the days are long, and like unfortunately, there are things that do get neglected at times. I think that, you know, there's certain things that I will sort of always make time for as much as possible. But like, you know, sometimes you might not, say, be able to speak to that friend for a long amount of time, longer than you'd like to, just because, you know, you're just
busy.
You're just going through stuff or whatever. Or you might not be able to like one thing that I know that I don't like is that I don't visit my nephew enough. I feel like I haven't seen my nephew since Christmas. But fortunately, they always send me pictures and videos and stuff. So
how old is your nephew?
He is now, it's about 8 months now, I think. Yeah, it's about 8 months now.
Mine is 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
so cute.
they're so cute at that age. Yeah. He's gonna start talking. I'm gonna.
It's super cute. Uncle Jay.
Yeah. But like, I do think that sometimes stretching yourself thin. I think sometimes you're not able to just give things maybe as much attention as you want. One thing that I would say that I set myself this year is just to be a bit more consistent with posting content, because I'll go through periods where it's like maybe might be like a month I don't post nothing, then like say in a week I post like 3 things or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I think I set myself like, okay, at least one thing a week. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got time to do more than that, but just be sort of consistent. And I think for me it's about like being consistent always leads to results. Like gym, with this, like the more consistent you man are even with doing this, you're gonna see growth
100%,
at the end of the day. So that's one thing I set myself, like be consistent, like, and then see where the growth comes from that, and then work on the volume afterwards, sort of thing.
That's good.
But you just got to create that habit, like as in, but me going gym at like 5-6 a.m. before I go to work is like not something that I was doing last year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But because I've been doing it now for the past like say 6 months more or less consistently, now it's like I'll just wake up at that time and it's like, yeah, let's go gym then.
Yeah. No, I've been seeing it. Like you've been going, like you've not missed a certain time when you go to the gym, and I've been seeing that on your socials.
Try, man.
Yeah.
Trying,
stuff,
bro.
man.
A fellow gym head.
Yeah, shout out my phone.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. So in terms of kind of like wrapping up, obviously you've mentioned, you've mentioned exactly in terms of how to help other people do what you do and stuff like that. In terms of one thing I wanted to ask earlier on, but I never got a chance to. What actually got you into medicine in the first place? What was the motivation? What drove you towards that direction?
That's a good question.
Mom and dad.
Jermaine, you must become one of these three.
You know, bro, you know what it is. Yeah, but you know what it is.
You know what time it is?
Doctor, lawyer,
Okay.
engineer. He's not one of those three.
Okay,
Forget about it. But like, I mean, do you know what? Yeah, in all fairness, yeah, my parents actually never forced me down the medicine route, innit?
Yeah.
I knew I was good at science. I was good at maths. I was pretty good in school overall, innit? But those were like my sort of go-to subjects.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. Obviously, I wanted to play football at one time, then the knee. The knee.
Me, mine was my Achilles.
Yeah, see, it happens to all of us. For some reason, they don't believe us. I don't know why. But like, yeah, so I was just like, oh, okay, cool. What's the best thing that you could do with science and maths, innit? You're like, oh, could be a doctor maybe. So I had never considered it really. Then I started going for like little like open days. I remember it was at King's College. Go for little open days. I was like, oh, you know what, this seems interesting. Like, I think it's something that I want to go for. So I'll be real. I feel like I went for it because I thought it would be a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, like as in I did have it in me that I wanted to, I guess, care for people, and I do think that that's something that's sort of grown a lot more in me since I've been studying and practicing as well. But initially, it was more that, let me see if I can do it.
Yeah. And
I like that.
And just a follow-up question to that. Did you find there was times where it was almost, this is really hard? Because one thing I've seen, I've seen people study science and what you study, and, kudos to you. It's a lot of work, a lot of reading, a lot of studying. Did you ever find times where it's like, this might be too much for me, like this is a little bit too...
100%.
Yeah.
Because when I finished my A-levels, so to be fair, for one, I didn't get into medicine straight away. I had to take a gap year, even though I managed to get my grades at A-levels. But you know what I'm saying? You get A star AA, you feel like you're the man. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm there like, it's like...
What did you get again?
A star AA. Yeah. I feel like...
No, what did you get?
Oh dear.
What did I get actually?
I'm pretty sure you
No,
did.
I got BBC.
British broadcasting or other things.
I got BBC. Hey, it worked out in the end. Didn't it?
This is what I'm saying. It don't even matter. It's just to get you to uni.
Jay,
Why'd
what
you ask him that?
Because I knew you didn't see any A's in his.
What did you get?
I got 2 A's and 2 B's.
Okay.
To the A group.
You got to watch this one though.
I know.
It's like me, you're up. But no, what was I saying? But yeah, so I came into when I finally got into medicine. Yeah, I came in and for the first time in my life, I felt like the stupidest person in the room. Like because it's almost like cool. You're the man where you came from.
Yeah.
But now you've stepped into the place where they're all the man. Like there's just everyone's the man sort of thing, innit? So I remember my first ever exams in uni, I failed them. And that was the first exams I failed in my life.
Oh, wow.
I'd never failed a single exam before that. And I was just like, oh.
Was this first year?
First year, first semester, I failed the exam. I was like, Jesus Christ, what have I got myself into?
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing all night. I'd never done an all-nighter before, doing all night. But to be fair, I was messing around the whole time. I think I revised for like a week.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And you know,
Like that in first year.
yo, I opened the book, I was like,
first year.
when did they teach this? When did they teach this? I was like, I wasn't sleeping at that like. But yeah, so I can't lie, like as in uni for me was rough. Like, you know, that exam I didn't do well in. Well, I failed it. Then I think I got up to like 4th year, and then I hit another wall. And that one, like as in, I had to resit that year. Again, there's stuff that like is just alien to me at this point. So it took me 6 years to get through. But it was just rough. Like I just never experienced like difficulty like that before. And it's more the volume. It was more the volume of the content rather than the content itself. Because if I'm being real with you, I think I think in the grand scheme of things, medicine is actually quite straightforward. It's just pattern recognition a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's just the amount of patterns that you have to recognize. The amount of patterns you have to
That's a good way
recognize.
of putting it.
Yo,
That's
it's
a very good way of putting it.
it's overwhelming at a certain point. So like, you know, I had to teach myself a new way to learn. That's the only way that I sort of like got through that barrier and then, you know, got through
impressive.
my finals and everything like that. But then the annoying thing is that you get on the other side and you realize that you don't need to know all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have Google. You have Google, man. No one, like, as in, it's just like, I mean, why store it in your head when it's in your phone?
We also have ChatGPT now.
ChatGPT, you know what I'm saying? Like, as in, all of this stuff is there, yeah. So it's like, you know, it's annoying that you have to go through that, but I think sometimes I think it's just character building
Yeah, absolutely.
as well. Like, because you'll be in situations where now you're working and it's rough.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of be able to pull from that strength from back then to get through this time. Like I said, COVID, that was rough. Like in the hospital, like just like is understaffed. Like people are like proper unwell. You know, you just on go. Working like I think my record was maybe like 13 days in a row or something like that. Just working sort of thing, because so many of my like colleagues were sick, and then like, you know, it's understaffed. It's like, Jermaine, do you mind?
Yeah.
Do you mind doing this? And it's like, you know, at that time I just wanted to sort of help, sort of thing in it. So, and to be fair, they'll pay me. They'll pay me as well. So yeah, but yeah, it's not all like rosy.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's hard.
Do you think that the discipline that you've learned kind of going through that process has really embedded in other areas of your life currently?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because I always do say to people, like say for example, when I was in uni, I was saying like, you know, I'll go lectures and I'll go parties. A lot of time people would like to me, are you meant to be revising?
Okay.
They're like, are you meant to be revising? Or ain't you got like and it's like, I've already done it. Like as in I went to the library earlier, done a few hours there. Like I'm here and I'm good to go. And like, how are you working as well?
Yeah.
But I think like just being sort of able to like give everything their respective times, that's created the discipline in me that sort of allowed me to even create those respective times now to make sure that as little suffers as possible. Like I said, it's not perfect. It's not all the way there, but it's definitely in a better position than it probably would have been before. Yeah, 100%. Definitely.
Well, I guess on a slightly lighter note, what are you excited about? I took a deep breath. What you really looking forward to over the next 3, 6, 9 months in terms of like projects and travel plans and stuff with the missus that you got planned?
No. I mean, that's probably what I'm most excited about. Yeah. I'm going somewhere for my birthday. Yeah. I'm turning 30 this year, innit? Yeah, I'm turning 30. Yeah, so
big 30.
Yeah, so she's planned something. I don't know what's going on. So that's gonna be really nice. I'm trying to sort of work less to put more time into like future endeavors, sort of thing. Yeah, I want to put more time into like my future sort of endeavors. Because I do really want to sort of create my own thing. So I do want to do that. Me and my friends, we're sort of we've got projects that we're trying to invest in together, which I think is nice because I feel like, a lot of black brothers, we like to spend together, but we don't like to invest together.
We had this chat.
You know what I'm saying?
We had this chat before.
Well, we were there in Houston. I remember we all sitting down around the table and we're like, if you put our money together, we could get this yard.
Yeah, it's true. We say this
we speak about this all the time.
But
all the time.
Like to do it, though.
We can party with each other.
Yeah, serious stuff is like, cool. It's like, we're looking at it like, okay, across these 3 times we've been to Houston, we've probably each spent this amount of money. Yeah. Bro, we could have had a yard.
Yeah, 100%.
Had a yard. Easily. Like, it's just, so it's stuff like, so we're really trying to like.
Penny drops when you're like 30. For us.
You start thinking about stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my Lord. Like, but yeah, I think just, and I think just, I'm just looking forward to just like, getting involved in things like this more. Just opening new doors, new avenues. Yeah, man. I think that's it, really. Yeah, I'm like right now. I think I'm liking living in the unknown, uncomfortable sort of thing because it's like, I think that one thing that I would say within working in a hospital is that literally from the time that you get into med school, you could probably plan out the next 20 years of your life, year on year. Wow. If you do the right things at the right times, you could be like, okay, this year I'm going to be exactly here. And that will exactly happen provided that you meet the requirements for it to happen at that year. Yeah. So you could like, map out the rest of your life pretty much. Yeah. And that's good for some. I don't think for me it's great because it's like, then I can see the end goal and I can see that I don't want to be there. At the end.
It's real.
You know what I'm saying?
Good or bad,
I don't want to be there. At the end. So right now I'm really in the spirit of like just trying new things and sort of just putting myself out there like a lot more, and seeing sort of how far that can sort of carry me, because I think it's just like that unknown sort of space excites me more than the known. Yeah.
No, I think you're definitely an inspiration to a lot of people. I think a lot of people will resonate with you and would want to do what you're doing, bro. So
I hope so.
Thanks, bro. No, 100%, bro. 100%.
I hope so, man. I want our people to win.
Honestly, bro, I think you come across so authentic, man. And I'm not surprised that, from the videos that you've done before around the profession and, I'm not surprised that's done well because, I could feel it. I almost forgot that we've got this whole setup and just generally having a conversation with you. And now we appreciate you, man.
I enjoyed it, man.
Where can people find you, by the way, so that they can?
Yeah. So I'm mainly on Instagram and TikTok. It's the same handle as _Jermaine, Jermaine, more More. Yeah, I'm saying if you want to see the vibes, notify me, you know what I mean?
Definitely. So guys, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Thank you guys.
Cheers, guys.